You ever catch yourself doing something? Something petty, cruel, or just plain out of character, and afterward you sit there thinking, where the hell did that come from? Like you were hijacked? Like some stranger took the wheel for a minute? Well, friend, that wasn't a stranger. That was you. Just a part of you you've spent your whole life pretending doesn't exist. Carl Jung, that quiet Swiss doctor with eyes that saw right through your Sunday best, figured something out most folks still haven't. The real danger in this world isn't out there. It's in here, right inside your own chest. And the scariest part? You've been feeding it by ignoring it. See, we all walk around thinking we're these put-together adults, rational, decent, in control. But underneath that polished surface, there's a whole shadow world. Jung called it the shadow. Every impulse you've buried because it wasn't nice. Every angry thought you swallowed to keep the peace. Every jealous streak you denied because good people don't feel that way, right? Wrong. The truth is, you've got darkness in you, and so do I, and so did your saintly grandma. The difference isn't whether you have it, it's whether you're honest about it. Because here's what happens when you pretend your shadow doesn't exist. It doesn't go away. Oh no, it gets stronger. It starts leaking out sideways, in the way you snap at your kid over nothing, in the way you judge someone for being arrogant when really you're just mad they're not scared to shine, in the way you sabotage your own success because deep down you don't feel worthy. Jung put it plain, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Think about that. All those bad luck patterns, the same toxic relationships, the self-sabotage right when things start going well, that ain't fate, son. That's your shadow running the show while you're asleep at the wheel. And the more you insist you're a good person, the more dangerous it gets, because you stop seeing your own envy, your own pride, your own need to control. Instead, you project it. You start seeing evil everywhere except in yourself. That guy's selfish. That woman's manipulative. That neighbor's out to get you. But you're just honest or protective or misunderstood. Sound familiar? Now, I'm not saying you're a monster, not at all. But wholeness ain't the same as purity. Jung wasn't interested in making you good. He wanted you to be real. And real means owning the whole damn package, the light and the dark. Because here's the kicker. Your shadow isn't just your enemy. It's also your power. That anger you suppress, it could fuel your boundaries. That wildness you tame, it could spark your creativity. That raw need you hide, it could lead you to deeper connection if you'd stop shaming it. But you can't use what you won't face. So, yeah, this path ain't comfortable. It means looking in the mirror and saying, yep, that's mine too. It means stopping the blame game and taking full responsibility, not just for your actions, but for the hidden currents driving them. But here's the freedom in it. Once you stop running from your darkness, you stop being controlled by it. You're no longer a puppet of unconscious forces. You start choosing. You start living, not from fear, but from awareness. And that, my friend, is where true freedom begins. Not in being perfect, but in being whole.
Let me ask you something. Real simple. Ever had a dream that stuck with you for days? One of those strange, vivid ones? Maybe you're falling, or your teeth are crumbling, or you're back in your old high school hallway, completely lost. And no matter how hard you try, you can't shake the feeling it meant something? Well, friend, it did. And Carl Jung knew why. See, most folks think their mind is like a private diary, just their own thoughts, their own memories, their own little world. But Jung looked deeper and said, hold on, that's only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath your personal story, your childhood, your heartbreaks, your wins and losses, there's something older, vaster, a deep ocean inside you that you share with every human who's ever lived. He called it the collective unconscious. And no, it's not some new age fantasy. It's the psychic bedrock of humanity. Think of it like this. Your personal mind is an island, but underneath it, a whole ocean. Dark, ancient, teeming with life. And swimming in that ocean are archetypes. Universal patterns, symbols, forces that have shaped human stories since we first gathered around fire. That's why a hero's journey in an old Greek myth feels just as powerful as a Marvel movie. That's why fairy tales from Japan, Africa, and Norway all have wise old women, tricksters, dark forests, and dragons. These aren't random. They're echoes of the same inner landscape we all carry. And here's where it gets personal. These archetypes aren't just out there in stories. They're in you, right now. The hero, the sage, the caregiver, the rebel. The shadow we talked about last time, that's an archetype too. And when one of them wakes up inside you, really wakes up, it doesn't just whisper, it takes the wheel. Ever notice how some people are always rescuing others even when it's killing them? That's the hero archetype running the show. Noble, sure, but unchecked, it'll burn you out. Or someone who's always chasing knowledge, never satisfied, always asking why. That's the sage. Or the person who keeps falling for chaotic partners, drawn to drama like a moth to flame. Might be the orphan or the lover archetype calling out for healing. But here's the thing Jung insisted on. These forces aren't your enemies. They're parts of your soul trying to get your attention. The problem isn't that they exist. It's that you don't know they're there. When you're unconscious of them, they run you like a puppet. But when you recognize them, that's when you start directing your own life. And the best way they speak to you? Through your dreams. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dreams, come on, that's just my brain sorting laundry. But Jung would shake his head at that. He believed dreams aren't noise. They're messages from your soul, coded in symbols because your conscious mind can't handle the raw truth all at once. Why do you dream of falling when you're overwhelmed at work? Why do you keep dreaming about being chased when you're avoiding a hard conversation? Why do houses, mirrors, snakes, or ladders show up again and again? Because your psyche is trying to tell you something your daytime self is too busy or too scared to hear. A house in a dream? Often your inner world. A snake? Not evil, usually transformation, shedding old skin. A mirror? Could be your shadow, staring back, asking to be seen. A door that won't open? Maybe a part of yourself you've locked away. Jung didn't just interpret dreams, he listened to them. He kept a dream journal for decades because he knew your soul speaks in images, not logic. And if you learn its language, you gain a compass for your whole life. But here's the kicker most people miss. Ignoring your dreams isn't harmless. It's like ignoring your body's pain. At first, it's just a whisper. Then it becomes a scream in anxiety, in depression, in repeating the same toxic relationship, in that nagging sense that you're living someone else's life. The modern world tells you to stay productive, stay positive, get over it. But your soul doesn't care about productivity. It cares about truth. And if you keep silencing it, it'll find a way to break through, often through a crisis. So here's my advice, plain and simple. Start paying attention. Keep a notebook by your bed. When you wake up, write down whatever you remember, even if it's just a color, a feeling, a face. Don't try to figure it out right away. Just listen. Over time, patterns will emerge. Symbols will repeat. And you'll start to see, oh, that's the part of me that's been afraid. That's the part that's ready to grow. Because freedom isn't just facing your darkness. It's about reconnecting with the full depth of who you are. Not just your resume, your role, your mask, but the ancient, mythic, messy, magnificent human being underneath. And that's where real wholeness begins. Let me tell you something I wish someone had told me when I was younger. You were never meant to fit in. Not really. Oh, sure, you learned to. You smoothed your edges, swallowed your questions, laughed at jokes that didn't land, nodded when you wanted to argue. You wore the mask so long you forgot what your real face felt like. Jung called that mask the persona, not because it's fake, but because it's a role, and roles are necessary. You can't walk into a job interview or a PTA meeting as your raw, unfiltered self. But here's where most folks get stuck. They start believing the role is who they are. And that's how you lose yourself. You wake up one day at 45, 55, maybe even 70, and you look in the mirror and think, who the hell is this? The house is nice, the car runs, the kids turned out okay, but something's missing. Not stuff, not success, soul. That quiet hum of being true. Not perfect, not impressive, just real. And you realize you've been living someone else's script. Your parents, your cultures, your bosses, social medias, anyone's but your own. That's where individuation comes in. Now, don't let that fancy word scare you. It's not about becoming special or enlightened. It's about becoming whole. Jung didn't mean individual like loner. He meant undivided. No more splitting yourself into the good me and the bad me, the professional me and the messy me, the strong me and the scared me. Individuation is the slow, painful, beautiful work of stitching all those pieces back together, even the ones you're ashamed of. And it starts with one brutal truth. You've got to stop blaming the world for your emptiness. Not because your pain isn't real, it is, but because the only person who can rebuild you is you. This path doesn't come with applause. In fact, it often comes with loss. You'll lose friends who only liked the mask. You'll lose approval from people who needed you to stay small. You'll lose the comfort of certainty, because once you start asking real questions, easy answers won't cut it anymore. But here's what you gain. Yourself. Not the version you think you should be, not the one you're trying to impress, just you. Flawed, complicated, full of light and shadow, and finally, at peace with the mess. Because wholeness isn't about fixing everything. It's about owning everything. The anger that protected you as a kid, it's still there, but now you can use it to set boundaries, not burn bridges. The neediness you buried, it's not weakness, it's your capacity for deep connection once you stop fearing it. The wild creative spark you called impractical, that's your soul trying to speak. Jung said the goal of life isn't happiness, it's meaning. And meaning isn't found in comfort, it's forged in the fire of honest self-confrontation. So, if you're feeling that pull, that quiet ache that says, there's gotta be more than this, don't numb it. Don't scroll past it. Lean into it. That's not anxiety. That's your soul knocking. Start small. Write down your dreams, even the weird ones. Notice when you're acting from fear instead of truth. Ask yourself, am I living this or am I performing it? And when the old voices whisper, who do you think you are? Smile and say, finally, myself. Because freedom isn't out there in some future achievement. It's right here, in the choice to stop pretending, in the courage to be seen fully, messily, gloriously as you are. And once you do that, you won't just be free, you'll be unbreakable. If what I've shared here hit something deep in you, if it stirred a memory, a question, or that quiet voice you've been ignoring, don't let it fade. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, not because I need the numbers, but because you deserve to keep going. This journey inward, it doesn't end today. Every video I make is another lantern on the path,
another tool to help you see yourself more clearly, stand more firmly, and live more truly. The world will keep shouting, but your soul, it speaks in whispers, and you finally learned how to listen. Don't stop now. Stay curious, stay honest, and above all, stay true. I'll be right here, walking this road with you. See you in the next one.